if you visit the channel with any regularity, you know that I purchased a Springfield Saint Edge rifle, modern sport rifle, and I had some problems with the rifle when I was shooting 223. I was shooting some 223 ammo that you know, was from a manufacturer that wasn't top tier ammo maker, Freedom, and it was some Freedom factory new 223, but it wasn't running right. I was having extraction issues where the case would rip, the rim of the case would get ripped off. This was with 223 ammo, and then I was shooting 5.56 and it ran great. Put this is a couple hundred rounds through with 5.56 and no problem. So I was talking to a guy that I traded a Glock 26 for this, a PSA Upper Freedom, a Noveske lower with a ALG trigger, mag pull parts, so mag pull stock, mag pull grip, mag pull trigger guard, carry handle, and you know, BMC or BCM, I'm trying to remember, BCM bolt carrier group, I think it's BMC, I don't remember. Anyway, whatever the case. And so I wanted another rifle because, believe it or not, all my other rifles were lost in a boating accident. Haha. And so I was talking to him about the problems I was having with that gun, and he just said, you know what, just send it back. So I contacted Springfield, told him what happened, and I shipped it back. So hopefully I'll get that back soon, but I did want to run the one mag left I had of that crappy ammo in this, and then run a few more rounds through it and just make sure it's running great. The guy I got it from, great guy, and you know, I think it's going to be just fine. He said he ran a couple hundred through it, and you know, I don't doubt him. But Noveske lower, PSA Freedom Upper, you know, M4 with the carrier handle, never had one with that. You know, the mag pull stuff, I'm happy with the trade, so let's see how she runs. Oh, there went the first one. It just malfunctioned. So the round gets crushed because the other round doesn't extract. Didn't do that with any of the other rounds of the 5.56, but with this cheaper 223, it sure does. So, get out my handy dandy. See if I can reach that. Get my handy dandy set up. That shuttle out. This is what it was doing before. As you can see there, the case rim came right off. Well, Springfield, this one's eating it out. Not a problem. Let's see how she she does if I go for some head here. Sorry, I'm just shooting those orange clays over there. Well, I gotta tell you, Springfield, this baby ate all 30 of them. You know, it's kind of that argument. Do I go get a 1911 tight chambered AR that's kick ass in every way but doesn't eat everything I feed it, or do I go get a Glock of ARs, the PSA, and hot diggity dog? I mean, this thing runs like a champ. Shots all where I want them. A-zone. I mean, it's a carry handle sight, so it's not like it's a optic or anything, but man, I can't complain about that. It's hard to see with all that smoke. Okay, not a problem with this rifle. Whew. Child's play. Headshots. The LG trigger is absolutely sweet, and they're less than half, they're about half the price of a CMC trigger, which is a nice trigger, don't get me wrong, but wow, this is a nice little spec, or whatever you want to call it, trigger. This rifle runs just the way an AR should. Although apparently there's some grease in that barrel. Love the retro look though. This reminds me of what I shot in basic training. Nice. So there's 120 rounds. 30, 60, 90, 120. Not a problem. Not one single problem, Springfield. Rifle that is half, less than half probably, if not for the Noveske lower, less than half the value of that Saint, which I love the Saint, it's a great rifle, but my goodness. Oh my, the things we do. Anyway, probably finish this off for the day here in a few minutes. Just shoot another mag through and see how I can get some accuracy stuff in there. Have a little bit of fun and head home. That was taken from back there again with the carry handle sights. And I do want to point out, I really doubt there's any liberal-minded folks watching this, but if there were, I want to point out the absolute crazy difference between that hole and the 45 caliber hole. And I love how you say these are weapons of war. And in reality, every weapon ever devised has probably been used in war, because what you do in war is you kind of use weapons. So Beto, I don't know why you say we need to get that stuff off the streets because it's a weapon of war. 38 revolvers have been used in war. You're just ignorant, and you really don't care about our rights. You just care about restricting and feeling safe because we can't tell you no. But the one thing I did want to talk about here while I tape this is the new California red flag, right? The new California red flag laws. So apparently certain people in certain positions can now turn you in, and they can come and remove your firearms without due process. They'll do the process theoretically on the back end, which I think we all know every government takes its sweet time on doing anything that's not in their best interest and expects quick resolution on things that are. That's just the nature, that's just human nature, not just government. And so the irony to me is that these people, I think I saw things like teachers, and they can basically turn you in, kind of like 1984, the thought police, and the government can come take your guns. And look, I'm all for people who are prone to commit violent acts and felonies, or have. I think the operative word is not prone to, but have. If you've committed violent acts and you're a felon for violence against human beings, maybe you shouldn't have access to firearms. That's up to a judge and a jury. That's not up to a policy. That's something that happens for each individual as a right, as an American citizen. And again, I said American citizen, not anybody who happens to be within the borders. Not that I'm against people coming here. I think that's a wonderful thing. If you do so legally, it's even better. If you come here illegally and you get caught, you should expect that you don't have the same rights, and you'll probably be sent home. And no, it's not because we're mean. It's because that's our law. The same laws that the politicians like Beto and Biden and others want to implement for firearms. And what if we did the same thing with them that they do with immigration? What if we just said no and turned against everybody and did whatever we wanted to? So the irony to me is California implements this anybody can turn you in and take your guns, no due process. New Jersey's red flag laws are now taking away they're going after one person a day, is what I read, to take their firearms away. And so the reason I bring all this up to you folks is because you need to understand, if you're watching this channel and you are a firearms owner, that regardless of whether you think AR-15s are bad or high capacity magazines are evil, or you're on the side of we should be able to have access to the same things that the criminals do and the law enforcement does, and the Second Amendment protects that right because we're American citizens and truly protects us from the tyranny of government, which is what we're seeing today. If you believe that's all true, then vote that way. because you'll have nobody but yourself to blame if you don't. Alright folks, we'll just put a few more rounds through this modern day musket. The founding fathers and all the great Americans who fought for our freedoms in the Revolutionary War used, which by the way happened to be the same weapon that the British were using for war. Think about that for a minute. See if I can see anything through all this darkness. It's pretty dark up there. This trigger. If I keep one rifle without optics on it, keep a carry handle, might have to get that tritium front sight that they have on night vision. It'd be awfully nice to be able to see that thing pop out. I think they're like $70. Yes, indeed. That is a keeper. That's 150 rounds of the same 223 that killed the Saint Edge. And if that Saint Edge comes back and does the same thing, it ain't long from my arsenal. How do we do with open sights here? Yeah, there's no way to stop a rifle from being better than a handgun. All alphas, headshots are all there. Couple Charlies, but this is hard to see in there. It's dark. Love the rifle. Happy with its performance. Kind of interesting. The PSA Freedom Upper A2 carry handle sights. Noveske lower, ALG trigger, mag pull, everything except for the handguard. Ran 100%, 150 rounds of the same 223 ammo that the Saint Edge choked on. This thing ran every single round, so clearly something wrong with that Saint Edge, and don't know what, don't know why. It's back with them, and hopefully they fix it. But I mean, for a sub $500, let's just call it $600 range setup, new, you know, at 25 yards I'm putting everything in the alpha. Headshots are all happening. You saw me do rapid fire drills with the rifle, ran great. Smokes like a sucker, but I'm sure that it's got a lot of grease on it or something. But now, you know, it had 200 rounds through it before. Now it's got another 150, so let's call it 350. This modern day musket is 100% ready to go. This is the perfect, in my opinion, truck gun, truck rifle, home defense setup. Just might get a tritium front sight for it, and you know, this thing's ready to go whenever I need it. And my other boutique rifles with all the optics and all the other stuff, well, those are fun too, but I mean, this is just the one that you throw in the truck and go. So anyway, sun's coming down, going down. It's time to head home, and I hope you enjoyed stopping by. Protect the Second Amendment, people. It's all we got to defend us against tyranny.